This is an excerpt from Peter Ralston's new book, Ending Unnecessary Suffering, coming out in spring of 2025. Narrated by Ethan Martin. Why does everyone end up going down a road that creates unnecessary suffering? It seems shared unconscious drives which dominate much of our experience push us in this direction, and, as mentioned, ignorance is the other reason we continue with ill-fated activities. But what makes this so commonplace for people? Our biological nature makes us learning machines because we begin life from a base of complete ignorance. By design, this creates some overlooked existential consequences. Without really understanding the dynamics behind these consequences, we still feel them in the background, and this results in blaming ourselves for deficiencies ill-defined. Beginning life in complete ignorance and with virtually no skills or capacity to take care of ourselves, we are required to fill in our ignorance and to learn the skills necessary to manage life. Beyond what comes with the package at birth through genetics, in order to learn basic physical, conceptual, and social abilities, we use trial and error and imitation. When it comes to crafting a self, which we really have no inherent idea how to do, we probably also use trial, error, and imitation, trying out various learned human features until some identity begins to form. Over time, and with much, often forgotten effort, a great deal of learning and development indeed unfolds. But what's missed in all this is that every piece of knowledge, social skill, understanding, and mental ability that we acquire is invented. Many are adopted inventions from our collective human culture, and much is self-invented. Without noticing, you remained ignorant of your role in fashioning yourself, since from the beginning your awareness never turned in that direction. The resultant person you now identify with simply became your self-experience, with all of your perceptions and attention looking out from this experience as you attempt to manage life from moment to moment. This is another overlooked dynamic. Even the fundamental consciousness, what we might call who you really are, that exists throughout your self-conception, is lost within the amalgam of adopted skills, mental activities, and identifiable characteristics you adopted and came to think of as yourself. The primal awareness of your unfettered and unattached source existence remains hidden from view within your experience until you directly experience who you really are, grasping directly your conscious existence without identity, history, or process. At this point, you can begin to contemplate your true nature, or what you really are. But that isn't commonly done because, as has been said, your awareness and efforts are naturally devoted to managing life and not getting to the source of your self-experience. Although we started life in complete ignorance, we've learned a great deal, and so naturally assume that all the learning we've done has solved our condition of ignorance. Yet when we look more closely, we can see that it hasn't. This second point may seem to be a false statement on its face, because we also assume that our learning is all that can be done, and since we seem to know so much, how can it be called ignorance? Yet, when asked what life is, or death is, or what the absolute nature of our existence actually is, or how we came to exist, and so on, we find no direct, genuine, conscious experience that answers any of these questions. We only find speculation and belief, and these do not rise to the level of direct personal consciousness. So it turns out that we are just as ignorant as we were at birth about the foundation realities of self and life, and that everything known has been learned, and so is not an inherent or direct consciousness of these essential matters. Because of this ignorance, and the fact that virtually our whole experience of self and world is adopted or invented, we have a nagging background sense that there is something wrong with our very person. We try to cover up this sense by inserting beliefs and convictions, by gathering more knowledge, by piling up opinions and assumptions, or perhaps by working to be competent and successful. But none of these actions alters our foundation sense that something in ourselves is incomplete and perhaps broken. They simply bury it. Look for Ending Unnecessary Suffering in spring of 2025.